Hello and welcome to Indie Dave Comics, your source for independent comic reviews. I am your host, Indie Dave. Today we're going to be reviewing Alterna Comics' Go West. Go West is a new release just last week. It is a classic Western revenge quest set in the future, although from all the settings you can tell it looks more or less modern day. The story isn't particularly new. Everybody has watched a Revenge Quest movie. This story kind of has a kind of similar vibe to, say, a Josie Wales and John Wick. Our main character, who after reading this comic through twice, I realized they don't even tell us his name, which is kind of a standard formula for Westerns in the vein of things like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and A Few Dollars More, that kind of stuff. Go West starts off, about the first third of the book is our character's backstory. He was a hired killer, worked for different people. He was very valuable because he was good at what he did. And at some point, he decided he just didn't want that life anymore. He left, settled down with his wife and kid, and somebody came by and murdered his wife and child. Again, this is going to sound like I'm bagging on the comic, but I'm not. It's standard. It's a standard trope. The first 2/3 of the book is told mostly in like a flashback montage type style. It's quick images of a doll laying on the ground. You see him contemplating his life. It's him narrating what he did before and what happened and what he's going to do next. We see the blood going into the drain, and then we see him. You can probably guess what's going on right now just by if you understand the trope. He's going down to his basement, and that's where his old life was. It's images like this, it's kind of iconic. You can kind of look at it right away, and you know what's going on, even maybe if you just have the premise of the book. None of this is to say that this book, isn't any good or anything like that. Tropes are what stories are built on. Cliches, you want to avoid cliches, but sometimes cliches are what they are. This book is very good. It's very well told. The way they do the montage imaging is very cinematic. You see here he's got his weapon he's assembling. You see right here, he's loading up his magazine. He sets up the graves for his family. And then he's going to do what it is that this book is about. His next step is finding the people that did this to him. I believe this is going to be a 3-part series. I'm not going to go too much into it. There's not a lot of spoilers, really, because, again, it's a common trope, but this is really well told. The art is very good. It's very stylized for the story that it is, for the story that it's meant for. I'm going to give this a pretty good recommend. Plus the fact that for your money, it's $1.50. It's you really can't go wrong at that price. It's on one of the things about Alterna is they do their stuff on newsprint, which is very retro. It definitely has that old school comic feel. Like when I was collecting comics back in the 90s and in the mid 80s. It's a true floppy.